Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the Conscious Life Expo podcast. My name is Melanie, and today we have a very, very special guest with us today. His name is Michael Satva. He is the co-producer of the Conscious Life Expo. Hello, how are you doing today?
Good to be here.
Yes, good to learn more about you and the Conscious Life Expo today. So we want to give everybody another perspective of the Conscious Life Expo. So we know that many speakers and presenters are going to be there with lectures and workshops, vendors, food and live music, and much, much more. So we want to learn more about the Conscious Life Expo. And so let's learn more with Michael. He is here today with us and joining. So thank you so much for being here. And tell us
Sure.
more about the Expo and how you got started and with the Expo and, the background of the Expo, the vision of the Expo and where that is taking us this year.
Well, sure. So the Expo is one of the largest spiritual themed conferences in the world, and LA is an amazing place to have it because Los Angeles represents so much for the future and for the creative communities of the world, and it's a meeting place, and so here in Los Angeles, it's just such a great way to meet other like-minded people and see what's at the cutting edge of this ever-evolving subculture that has really been growing and changing since the 70s, when the hippie generation really kind of started moving this to the mainstream. My parents were hippies in the 70s, and so I was raised very much in this kind of culture. So I have an interesting perspective that's different than a lot of the boomers because I grew up in it. And so for me, it's like part of who I am in a different way. And so I'm able to have more of a sense of, more of a grounded sense of like where it's kind of crazy and where it's compelling and where it's important for the world. So as a millennial, I represent that kind of next generation for the Expo that really helps it transcend into the future, and I've just watched it grow since the beginning. My dad started it 22 years ago. At the time, I was still working on it then. I was doing the AV team in 2002. So every year I've done something at the Expo, and for the last 10 years I've been doing the art direction, as well as social media, doing the ads, and every year I've just added more to what I'm doing, and now I'm bringing in a lot of the speakers. I redeveloped the exhibit hall and the exhibitor department. So yeah, it's been a whole journey, and 22 years later, here we are, and it's I think more mainstream than it's ever been, and more people are interested in these subjects. So I'm happy to get into it, and let's talk about the different themes of the New Age community moving forward and what that means.
Yes, and from your perspective and over the years, how have you seen the Expo grow?
Well, I think there's a huge generational divide. I think that the boomers had a really powerful moment in history where they really kind of opened this conversation. But for them, it was still very much living like normal lives with this kind of these more extreme ideas of spiritual transformation and growth, and just even the conspiracies with UFOs. All of these things were much more hidden at the time, and so they were like breaking it open, but they were still living their normal lives. Whereas I feel like with the new generation, it's so ubiquitous. Like everyone goes to yoga, everyone understands what a chakra is, everybody is like, they'll say, talk about karma, just all these things that were, are now like commonplace part of our culture here in California that were really invented back then. And so the way the millennials and the new generation perceive divination or tarot cards or even astrology is so much more just part of who we are And so it's really interesting to see how that manifests in new speakers coming in who are, doing light language or star seeds or these things that are much more, it's more like acceptable to be out on a limb in a different way for the newer generation. And so I really try as one of the producers to really bring in this next generation and these new ideas and have it be able to transcend generations.
Yes, and that leads me to my next question is how do you see the Conscious Life Expo growing into the future or expanding?
Well, I think we've expanded into the hotel as much as possible. We're in 3 levels now, 3 levels of exhibit halls. We have a whole hall of healing with all these breakout rooms with different healing modalities. We have 11 rooms of speakers simultaneous. We've expanded the Friday to start at noon, so come as early as you possibly can. And it's phenomenal. There's over 200 speakers, and it's so many different modalities, and over 200 exhibitors, and it's really pretty maxed out in that hotel. If we wanted to expand, we'd have to get a new location, but that location has been special over the years. We've been in the same spot for 22 years. I think that in the future we may expand to retreats or other kind of events in other parts of the world. But for now, we're just sticking with that, just making sure that it's the best 4 days that people can have there at the Hilton.
Tell us more about the weekend and what we can expect.
Well, so it starts off with the opening ceremony, and then the way the event works for people who haven't been is we have lectures, which are 45-minute talks. There's 4 of them every hour, and then we have workshops that a lot of them are free with the purchase of a day pass, and then we have keynotes which require an additional ticket. But the way our ticketing works is that it's like a la carte. So if you want to see the whole weekend, you can get a larger combination pass to see everything, or you can buy one ticket at a time, or just get a free pass, or a free day pass, which is $40-50, and you can see all the exhibit halls and all of the free events. And so there's a lot of different ways to see everything we have to offer. There's just so much. The 4 days will go by so fast, and you'll say, well, I wanted to see this, and this, and there just isn't enough time for everything. And so yeah, there's a lot of different things to see. We have the different kind of themes. We have the UFO stuff. We have conspiracy related content in the rabbit hole. We have people talking about astrology, divination. We have people talking about ancient mysteries, ancient secrets. We have this year more stuff about light language and starseed activation. We have just you name it, all of the different subjects we have, and you're gonna find so many different people speaking on these things that it's really exciting. We have an artificial intelligence panel this year discussing how AI and consciousness really what that means and where the line is. And I actually was watching Terminator just the other day, the original, because it's like here we are in 2024 dealing with these issues of where the AI is headed. So that we definitely want to talk about that as well. So
Yes, I'm also looking forward to the panels. There's going to be great discussions about star seeds and activations and again, the AI, which is a great topic. And so what are you looking forward to with the expo, and what are you most excited about?
Well, so for me, what am I most excited about? Well, for me, it's like a crazy weekend. I just have to be, ready to put out fires. So for me, it's going to be just a wild whirlwind. But I really, the aspects of this world that I really appreciate is I really like to get to the bottom of, the UFO technology, our 0-point energy, any of the healing modalities like the frequency healing, just all the things that we're missing in this world that I think if the disclosure actually happens and we find a way to bring this technology to light, then it transforms our society forever. the anti-gravity, the Tesla technology, yeah, or even just the cures for cancer that may have been suppressed over the years. There's a lot of that's fascinating to me. And yeah, I mean, I always say like, hey, if the aliens are out there and they're here, I want them to come to the expo and like show themselves. Because why would you go to the government or the military industrial complex? It's like wasting your time. Come to the Conscious Life Expo and like take off your human skin and show us who you are. And like that, you know, it's a whole community of people that will like be ready for it. You know, we're all ready. So like, come on, let's do it.
Yes, yes, yes. And how many attendees do you expect this year?
I roughly between 5 and 10,000 attendees come every year. And it fills up the exhibit halls, and it's amazing. 11 talks at the same time. You'd think that how do you fill it? And every single one of those talks has people in it. It's unbelievable.
Yes, it is very transformative and educational and informative, and there's so much wisdom and enlightenment that can be shared at the expo, which is very exciting. And so with along with the free workshops and lectures, there's also keynote speakers, and there's also the post-conference events as well. So let's talk about the post-conference.
Yeah, so the post-conference, the exhibitors go home on Sunday night. They go to sleep, and Monday people keep going. We have five rooms that are post-conferences. They're like longer workshops. They're 2 hours long, 2.5 hours long. I'd have to look. And they're more of the keynotes that are going to talk more in depth about certain subjects. And this year we have two other special panels. One is a medical freedom panel, and one is a rabbit hole panel. And so we have a lot more going on Monday than we've ever had. So again, we just keep expanding out every year because there's just more and more demand for all these different things. So if you want to come on Monday, I recommend it as well because you get the full four days of fabulous stuff going on.
Yes, and there's also a disclosure lunch with Jimmy Church. Is that right?
Closure lunch with Jimmy Church. We have a George Norrie forum. We have seances with Susan Slaughter. We have each night we have the Leo King doing a DJ party Friday, Saturday night. Yeah, it's go to the website and just see go to the schedule and you'll see there's so many things going on. You'll have to pick and choose what to see.
Yes, I think that's the most difficult part is figuring out your own schedule and what you're going to see as well.
How many years
So
have you gone, Melanie?
this will be my third year attending and my second year presenting.
That's cool. And you're going to talk about Anubis.
I am. I'm going to be doing a very special event. It's Conversations with Anubis. It's a free workshop. So that is on Friday, February 9th at 2 p.m. So completely free, of course, with the day pass, but it's going to be quite interesting.
So tell me, how do you communicate with Anubis?
Great question. So how I got started, I guess, introduced to that connection, what I would call my counterpart as Anubis. I bring through the essence of Anubis through a channel, and how I discovered that was through hypnosis. I discovered past lives, multiple regressions that I was being regressed to Anubis. And so I discovered that there was something to that. And the more I connected with it, the more I noticed that we were very similar. And so I just started doing this trans channel and discovered that through the channeling, he can read different timelines. He can provide healings. He can look at, I speak of timelines, so the Akashic records. And he also can answer your question, but not really your question specifically, but he answers the question on why you asked. And so there's a lot of insight and growth and wisdom, and the healings are pretty fascinating. There's going to be healing codes and light language activations, DNA activations, clearing blueprints. And so there's a lot to be said. And
So do you think that Anubis is specific to ancient Egypt, or he's a being that traveled to other civilizations? Is he is in the sense of how you're communicating with him, is it a very Egyptian sense of Anubis, or has it is it something else? Is it from Nibiru? Is it an Anunnaki thing? Where's your sense of who this Anubis being is and where he came from?
that's also a very good question. Thank you for asking. So the more that I learn about myself and that connection, and with the connection to Anubis and what he has to offer everybody, I'm learning that it is a combination of all of those things, I would say, because as a soul, as we grow, as we expand through the different timelines and lifelines that we experience and grow through, and as we evolve, we kind of accumulate pieces of those timelines. And I have resonated and connected with Anunnaki lifetimes as well. And from what I know about Anubis, is that he came from Sirius to assist the Egyptians with their transitions, to help care for the body in that way. And it was a very sacred practice to him, and everyone had their role in Egypt as a god, or lesser even as a slave. They were also very important in the labor they provided. But the soul as a whole, I think, with that communication with him, extends beyond Egypt and more than what I can imagine. But I realize that within that state, the information that comes through is very enlightening, and it's information that I would never have thought of at times. But I have practiced energy work in the past, so I do consider myself to be a shaman, and very in tune with the body and healing the body. So it's just a great combination, and he's very direct and straight to the point. And so if there's something that someone wants to ask just as for confirmation, he's going to recognize that as well and say, well, here, you already know, why are you here? What else do you want to know? So he sees right through the veil, and he's very caring and compassionate as well in that sense.
My sense of Anubis is that his role is to remind you of your soul mission, and that you're on Earth for a certain purpose. And when you're off track of your purpose, that's when he's like, well, that's not what you're here for. You're here for this other thing. And that whole story of weighing your heart against the feather, I see as a way of him saying, like, well, look, this is what you came down for, and have you accomplished your mission? Are you going on your path, or are you straying? And not to say you don't have free will, but that you do have these commitments to your soul, your higher self, to fulfill a mission. It's like a video game, and you have to pass these levels, and Anubis is there to remind you, what mission you're on, and making sure that you're giving it the value that it deserves, or you get lost, and you're looking for other things in life that might not be really what you're here for.
Perfectly said. And as I look back at the Anubis channelings that I've done for individuals, that is exactly what he does. He delivers that information of what's blocking you. He'll address those fears, he'll address the body aches, and he'll redirect you if you're on the wrong path, which is great. So thank you for saying that.
I mean, in some ways, I think of it also as that he's not like, a lot of times people would think he's like the god of death, but I think of it more that he's like the preserving your mission, like the preserver of the ever present now, where like your soul lives forever, like it's like a forever now, And so he's like the preserver in the like the Hindu symbolism. There's the I forget what is it, Vishnu and Shiva. What's the other one? Anyway, there's the creator, there's the preserver, and there's this destroyer. And in a sense that I see Anubis as part of that, the preserver, or the Lakshmi, the one that keeps everything. It preserves your soul and for eternity, and so that there's this sense of continuity, and that you're not destroying yourself. You're not that I think that's a misconception that Anubis sometimes has, is that, oh, it's the death, it's at the end. It's like, no, he's the one that's there through your life as the guide of the present moment, who you are in the present. So anyway, that's my I've thought about Anubis in different ways as well. So I appreciate that's your niche, to go into Anubis. So
Of course, thank you. I hope you can make it, and I hope many others can make it as well. It's definitely limited. And so I realized that even if I can't get to any or everybody individually, because I'm gonna have people ask questions, that I'll be able to assist everybody as a collective. And so that'll be something very interesting to look forward to. And I'll have golden necklaces for everybody, and I'll save you one as well. So it's going to be fun, and there's just going to be so much to explore at the expo. And there's also the talent show, and there's the book awards, and there's Bashar, who's going to be speaking on Sunday as well. So there's going to be panel discussions, keynote workshops, special events, and is there anything else that you can share with us for anybody who is preparing to be at the expo? We know definitely to get the tickets in advance online, and that's consciouslifeexpo.com. But what else should we know about the expo and how to prepare?
I think that it's a special weekend, and it's just a coming together of many people with alternative beliefs and ideas, and to just come with an open mind that there will be 5 different accounts of the same thing, and to just the idea of finding truth is to hear everyone's point of view, and then we come to some kind of consensus in the middle. I think it's the human nature to have your own point of view and your own perspective, but to like respect everyone else's point of view, and just see how many different ideas, different eyewitness accounts, different modalities that everyone has to like experience their own spirituality is valid, and to just to find the beauty in that diversity. And so with that also, that we're speaking to humans, human to human, and we're not going through the algorithm and the AI that YouTube is giving us, which often leads to toxic content. That at the expo, you're going to have person to person, real human to human interaction, which is so valuable. And I think that's really what the expo has to offer, is that real in-person interaction with strangers that you've never met, that will become best friends for life. People that you have all these commonalities with, that you can interact with without being in the chat room, or all these digital ways that we've been separated. And we have the gatekeepers of Google and YouTube, determining how that affects our mind and our brain, and I think that's so important to be in person. So just want to really reiterate that because it's such a large event of people that are just like you, it's a phenomenal experience in that way.
Yes, and there's also volunteer opportunities also on the website. So if anybody's interested in volunteering, there's plenty of spaces. And so thank you so much, Michael, for meeting with us and sharing the history of the expo and what we can expect. And it was great to learn more about the expo and who's going to be there. And just thank you again. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Melanie. Thank you for doing these podcasts and really picking the brains of all of our speakers. And yeah, I didn't mean to give you a hard time about your workshop, but again, you're one of the speakers, so we want to promote you as well.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And it's going to be such a joy to meet everybody. And you're right, there's so many beautiful human spiritual beings that we're going to meet, and the relationships really do last, and there's many great memories. So everybody, please attend the Conscious Life Expo, February 9th through the 12th, Los Angeles Hilton. And that's in Los Angeles, California. And so thank you everybody again for joining us.